Welcome back to this week's video. I appreciate you swinging by. This one's going to be great for any of you beginner photographer or videographers out there. We're going to be going over, in my opinion, the best and cheapest budget lens you can get for any of your Sony APS-C cameras out there. And without further ado, let's dive right in. So to kick things off, again, this is a 30mm 1.4, and this is a prime lens. And if you don't know what a prime lens is, it's basically does not have any zoom to it. So it's only one focal length, but there's a perk to that. The benefit to having a prime lens is that your aperture will most likely be lower than your traditional zoom lens or even the kit lens that you might have right now. So for any of you photographers and videographers out there that are starting out, you're probably thinking to yourself that a prime lens is not your way to go because you're only stuck to one focal length. Now for me, I've had prime lenses in my bag for a while just because I like to be able to have the lower f-stop. So for when I'm shooting portraits, this is pretty much always on my camera. If not this, probably my 50mm is on there as well, which those kind of go hand in hand. It's usually just depending on like which style or look I'm going for. The photos that you get out of this lens, I don't think could really be any better, especially for the price. I have really nothing to complain about this lens. The price is good. The images come out crisp, the autofocus is great, and you get that shallow depth of field, which is what we all love. So we can take a look at some photos that I snapped today on a hike that I went on with my brother. Here we are at the top of the mountain, about to get some photos. How we doing, Paul?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah? Let's see what they look like. Now I would suggest this lens to any of you beginner photographer, videographers out there, or even if you have a lot of experience and a 30mm is just not in your bag, this is something that I highly recommend getting. One perk that I would give to this lens is that it has a natural look, meaning that I feel it's very similar to the human eye. The way we see is how this thing sees. This thing might be a little bit tighter, but it's fairly close. Perfect for B-roll, perfect for filming behind the scenes, perfect for filming, I would say almost anything besides vlogging, because if you're holding the camera out in front of you, this is gonna be just a bit too tight. You might be getting like your eyes and your chin in the shot, but just, yeah, anything else besides vlogging, I think this lens will be great. So one other perk that just kind of came to me is that this lens does great in low light, and the reason why is because of the aperture being at 1.4. So a great way to put this into perspective, the lower the aperture, the more shallow of a background you'll have. So the lens that we're using right now is the same aperture as this at 1.4. So you can see as I put my hand up that the background is pretty washed out. So that's what you're going to be getting with the lowered aperture. Whereas if you had a lens like, take for example, a kit lens at 18 to 55 with an aperture of 3.5 to 5.6, using that in low light, you're going to be asking for some grain. Whereas photographers and videographers, grain is our enemy. And so stay away from that and get yourself a prime lens or a zoom lens that has a lowered aperture, but you're going to be spending a pretty penny for those. So for price, according to Amazon, we have $264.99. So is that a great price for this lens? In my opinion, yes, because you're getting a great focal length, you're getting a great f-stop, it's greatly built, it's pretty sturdy, and I would recommend it to anybody starting out or even anybody that's more advanced, because this is not a lens that you should not have in your bag. And the reason why is because it's a focal length that's kind of right in the middle between everything that we normally see and use. So one downside that I would give to this lens is that it doesn't have any stabilization, which makes sense. For the price and for what you're already getting, I think it's a great lens, and having stabilization would be great. But it all comes down to the price, and I think what you're getting for $265 is well worth it. So I've shot handheld video with this lens before. I actually shot the painting video that I did with my sister, which is actually a previous video, which I dive into how I plan videos and how I planned that specific video. So if you're interested in that, go give that a view. But do I see a difference in a lens that is stabilized rather than this one? Oh yeah, 100%, but it's not bad. So don't let that be a reason why you're not picking this up. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. I do have to jump on some editing here soon that I have to have done by tonight, so I better get after that. Check out the affiliate link down below. Subscribe if you're new. comment what you want to see next, like this video, and I'll see you next Tuesday. All right? Now I can finally check off close video. We're done. Later.